Hi, welcome to the Bagmaker Society and Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock once again. Thank you very much to everybody who is joining us live. I'm sure that you will have seen from the event and also obviously the schedule that we have the lovely Diane with us today, Diane Richards. I'm sure lots of you will have seen her amazing bags posted in lots of the groups. And I'm really excited to sort of chat to her and find out about her bag making journey. So, hello, Diane.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, we've got quite a few people in the chat. We'll start the evening by saying hello. So we've got Donna and Tracy. We've got Alice, who since first time she's ever watched. Usually only watch foods on YouTube because I'm chunky and funky. Me and you both. Michelle is here. This is my husband, who and we have Sue. And Sue's asking if I was feeling better, and Andy is saying she's coming around, Sue, better than she was. Oh. Yeah, poor Andy's had to look after me all week because I haven't been very well. So bless his heart, he is earning his keep this week. So yeah, but we've got Sue, Paula, Debbie, Susie, Joe, Michelle, Mandy, lots and lots of people joining us in the chat today. So thank you very much, and thank you for you to giving up your evening to come and chat with us about all things bags and fabric and sewing and
yeah, it used to, yeah, they've made me a bit emotional.
I think anybody who is in the Facebook group particularly sees all the makes that you make and they're so amazing. They're probably here for all the tips. I know I am. That's why I'm here. So do you want to start off by sort of just giving us a quick introduction to yourself and how you got into bag making?
Yeah. Well, I've been sewing for a long time. I started sewing but back in my school days, started making clothes. It was not my thing, but I always enjoyed sewing. I got into quilting when I got a bit older, and I quilted for some years. But about 7 years ago, I made a quilt for my niece, new baby niece at the time, and I didn't enjoy the experience at all. And I knew that was my last quilt. And the sewing machine laid idle for a while. We had lockdown, and then I started making masks and bits and pieces. And the machine was out, and I wanted to do something, but I didn't quite know what it was. And I came across, I think it was Lauren Mormino on YouTube, and that girl makes me laugh. And
she does.
I loved it because she was hilarious and she was sewing, and I kind of got into it from that sort of side. And to be honest, to start with, all I did was watch. I watched and I watched and I watched. I watched Mormino. I watched Jess Ockler Roots.
Yes,
mainly those two initially. And I thought, I think I could do this. And then I started just messing about a little bit with bags because I didn't really know that much about it at all.
Yeah.
And, I then came across country cow designs, and I loved Jo's way. I loved her little patterns, and I was quite taken with country cow designs, and they were one of the first bags that I attempted to make. And the first real bag I think I made was a country cow designs bag. And I made a bag for a friend of mine, my best friend Anne, and it was the Yas Motor by Country Cow Designs. That was my first proper handbag.
Yeah.
I made it in quilt cotton. It was beautiful. And quilt cotton and cork, and I gifted it to Anne, who then went and showed it to everybody she knew. And she showed it to some friends that we've got, some friends that have been friends with her for years, who Richard Skipworth, his name is, and his wife Jill, and he's a designer, and he has a range of cards, all sorts of things with greyhounds on.
Right.
Based on his dog, Magic. Let me see if I've got a piece of fabric that I can briefly show you. You will have, people will have seen my bags with it on, because I do them all the time.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was expecting.
No,
I love it.
Fabric, yeah. I've made tons of bags in this because I love greyhounds. I got into greyhounds because of them. I went to a big group to actually sell some bags because Richard was the one who said, your bags are brilliant. He saw the one I made for Anne and he said, the people I know will love these. Make them in my fabric. So I went along and I did it. I had a whale of a time. I loved it. And the greyhounds, oh, they're beautiful. Now, because of that, I support 3 charities. I donate bags to them so that they can auction them, do whatever they want with them to make money for these beautiful dogs. So that's basically how I started.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I love as well that obviously your friend loved a bag, but that everybody else was so supportive of you and encouraging you. And I, for one, I'm really pleased that they have, because I love seeing your bags. Are you still exclusively country cow, or have you gone over into other patterns?
No, I will sew any bag I like. Any bag.
Yeah.
One of your questions, I think, is what's your favourite? But I can't say. I don't have a favourite because I like so many. There's designs that I see and I think, wow. I have some that I am more inclined toward.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say I have an outright favourite. Country cow have got my heart forever.
Yeah, I think you always have that, don't you, with your first. It's like your first love. It's like they're the one that sort of inspired you and ignited it. So you're always kind of drawn to them.
Definitely. And Petal, Ivana Butterrock, her pattern, German. She was the first person I pattern tested for. She was new to designing. I was new to pattern testing. English isn't her first language. And on the first test, the first pattern she did, I helped her with the language side of it. And basically, we've become friends. I didn't actually sew a bag properly for that test. I didn't sew it until the promotion was finished. But the second bag, the second one I did. Yeah. I still have that bag and I'll never sell it.
Will you not?
Nope.
That's proper cherished.
That's my bag, and I showcased my quilting on that bag. This is it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like.
I'll never sell it. Never.
That's lovely. And such straight lines. You
see, I like precision makes. And her patterns are precision makes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Liberty fabric inside of that bag.
That's so amazing. That's fantastic. So do you have a little bit of a sweet spot for Liberty fabric as well?
Oh, I do. I'm a quilt cotton lover, and I love Liberty. Tula Pink, love her fabrics. There are so many. Art gallery. Yeah. I love those as well.
Yeah.
There are so many. The Free Spirit designers. So many great ones.
Yeah. And that's the beauty, isn't it, with quilt and cotton, is that, you know, the world's your oyster with it, isn't it? For patterns, designs, colours, you name it, you're going to be able to find it in some sort of quilt and cotton. And you're not going to have that sort of limitation that only sewn with vinyl or only sewn with things like water resistant canvas and that sort of thing. Quilt and cotton kind of opens up a whole spectrum, doesn't it, of colours, patterns and designs and what have you.
Definitely. And I do like colour. I do like colour.
I'm very much partly on the outside. No, sorry, playing on the outside, partly on the inside. Are you the same?
I'm a very much a how the mood takes me, Sew. I don't have a. It sounds really sort of very loose, but I suppose that is how I sew. I don't have a particular style, I don't think, or theme that I run to. I just sew how the mood takes me, I think. Very much.
Do you find inspiration in anything in particular?
Again, I wouldn't say anything in particular, but if I see a pattern and I'm going to sew it, I know what I'm going to sew it with. I instantly know what I want to sew that bag with. It'll be like, oh, that's got to be a vinyl bag, or that's got to be a cotton canvas bag, etc., etc. I get that vibe straight away. And again, I think it's dependent on the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to go sophisticated. Sometimes I want to go playful. Sometimes I want to do a bit of a rebel thing, which I did with my last bag.
I love a rebel. I love a rebel. Do you usually choose your pattern first or your fabric first?
Because I pattern test, it's generally the pattern. That generally is what comes first.
Yeah. And what got you into pattern testing?
Because I wanted to sew for country cow designs. That was basically it. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't until last year. I wasn't even on Facebook. I didn't know it was
right.
I didn't know there were Facebook groups where you did all this thing. And Mandy Maestri, I love that woman. She's Mandy. Hi. She's a fantastic bag maker. And
she's just said exactly the same about you. She says Diane is an amazing bag maker.
Well, she said, because we're friends, and I said to her, I want to sew for country cow. What have I got to do? And she said, sew their patterns, be seen. And I thought, oh, okay. So that's what I did. And Joe asked me to sew for them, and I nearly cried. I nearly cried, seriously, because it was my goal. And when she asked me, she sent me an email and she said, would you like to? I was like, are you kidding me? Would I want to?
Finally, my dreams have come true.
Yeah. And I was just like bowled over. And it's just gone from there, really. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It gives me great joy. And when I see other makers' bags, I love that. And I know I comment a lot and I probably get on people's nerves, but I can't help it. I'm enthusiastic.
I would never get the impression of anybody who's very passionate and, you know, wants to inspire other people as ever getting on anybody's nerves at all. Because I think a lot of the time when people come into the groups to get support, even if it is just to like, I've made this bag and I want people to see it. Or they might be coming in, it's all right. They might be coming in asking for help. Having people in there who are helping.
Sorry.
You're all right.
I'm not organised. Sorry, Deb. I'm back.
That's fine. No, I was just saying that I think most people will find you and the likes of Mandy, who was in the chat, because I know I always find Mandy's bags very inspirational. She's amazing. So, you know, any sort of help, support or encouragement that anybody gets from anybody in the groups, I don't think gets on anybody's nerves at all. And there's a few people who were saying that they would love to test for Country Cow as well. Hazel being one of them. And saying that she finds that your bags are amazing. Mary's basically saying she only recently discovered country cow designs, and she's now obsessed as well. So I don't think you're alone.
No, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah, and Tracy's saying her Greyhound has that fabric in a collar.
Yeah, because they make collars and all sorts, and fabulous.
Yeah,
Love them.
yeah. So, what sort of challenges have you faced when you started bag making? I know obviously you've come from a quilting background, which will probably help with that precision. But what did you find sort of difficult or challenging when you started first making bags?
It is quite different from quilting, and other than using batting and stuff like that, I didn't know what a stabilizer was. I didn't understand interfacing, and I needed to understand that. And I spent a lot of time understanding that. And I find that I'm able to explain that to other bag makers now. And I think once you can understand your fabrics and your bases, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a challenge because I didn't know what to put where initially, and I did get it wrong, quite a few times.
Yes.
And
Me too.
It was as stiff as boards, and I couldn't turn them out because I'd got it wrong.
Yeah, I was the other way. I was like, oh, I won't need that. It'll be fine, and it so wasn't. It was floppy as anything. It's like that won't stand up. It would just go. But yeah, interfacing and stabilizers, I would say, if you're coming from a dressmaking or a quilting background, they're probably one of the most difficult things to get your head around. But once you do, it's game changing.
And I find that I always look at the pattern as a guide. It's not a law. You don't have to make it like that. You don't have to use that stabilizer. If you think something else is going to work better, do it. That's all.
Because it can depend on your base fabric too.
Absolutely. I love to play with stabilizers because you don't know unless you try. So
yeah. And what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. It's a bag at the end of the day. Nobody's going to die if you get the stabilizer wrong, are they?
No, definitely not. And have you got any? I'm an absolute nightmare for tools and gadgets. If I see a tool or a gadget, I want it, and I'm getting better at learning that I don't need them all. I don't have to have them all. But is there any sort of tools and gadgets that you absolutely swear by, that you couldn't make your bags without?
Our rotary cut. I need my rotary cutter, and I need to remember to sharpen my blades. A blade sharpener. Could do that. And a stiletto.
Yes. Mine's always within easy reach.
I've got a couple of them, and I have to have. I've probably got more than a couple of them. They're always close. I have to have my stilettos. I like the stiletto seam ripper because you need one of them as well.
Yeah. Where's mine? I'm saying mine's always. Oh, there it's hiding. Mine's the same.
Yeah.
Nobody would be shocked to know that mine is green.
You do need these, and they help so much in controlling things. And when you're sewing curves, especially, a stiletto or a flathead screwdriver.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, again, I've always got my screwdriver right to hand because changing my feet over on my machine. So, like I say, it is quite handy to have that. Yeah, I'm just quickly looking in the chat. There's loads of love for Country Cow, and there's lots of people who feel the same way about Jo and Adam's patterns now, because she's obviously pulled him into the bag making world, probably kicking and screaming, but he loves it now. And here's us saying we all need the rulers, Deb. You can see my little collection.
Yeah. Well, I have a ton of quilting rulers, and I bought a light up ruler. It lights up. you can get 6-inch square. Don't go any bigger because you'll never get it. It's coming from America, but it's not got here yet. So unless it's in the country, don't even attempt it. But they have the 6-inch rulers. And, what's the company called? I've forgotten. Hazel knows because I told her. I can't remember.
Oh, she'll have to tell me. Andy is literally sitting in the other room going, my God, don't tell her about any more rulers. Please, no more rulers, because I'm terrible. I went to the Knitting and Stitching show in Harrogate, and I love Quilted Bear. I love their stuff, but I love their rulers. And I was literally looking around and I was like, there are no more rulers for me to buy. I literally have them all. I was devastated that I wasn't going home with another ruler.
6-inch one, the 6-inch by one, and I've got several of those.
Yeah, my current favourite, and everybody laughs at me for this one, is this one, which is a 3/4 inch ruler, and I got this at Festival of Quilts. I got it from Crafty UK. And me and Emma from Studio 77 were walking around and I spotted this and I was like, oh, I want it. And she was like, Deb, will you use it? And I was like, I don't know, but I want it. Like, it's a ruler that I haven't got. So therefore I want it. Turns out I use it all of the time, especially, when you've got to come in 3/4 inch from the edge.
One of those.
Straight away. And I love the fact that the middle of it is 3/8, because I find measuring 3/8 on a normal ruler, it's a little bit difficult because they're not always, that in between isn't always marked. So it turns out I use it all the time, and I'm always talking about my 3/4 inch ruler.
I have this sparkly Mormino one.
Oh, that's
I love this. But I can't see properly because of the sparkles.
Yeah.
So
I know I have heard somebody else sort of say the same thing. I would still want it though because it's sparkly.
Yeah, I've got to have it. I had to have it and I love it because it's pretty.
Yeah, exactly. So, Michelle's saying a small Phillips screwdriver is what she uses in rulers. I have too many, but not enough. I mean, exactly. Hazel's saying you did tell her, but she can't remember either.
I'll find it and I'll post it in a group somewhere.
Yeah, or you can send it to me as well, and I'll put it in the description later on. And then if people are watching back at a later date, they can go in the description. So Sue's also saying she couldn't be without her 1x6 inch ruler either. You have those ones, don't you, that you just reach for all the time. Like I've got rulers that are very similar, but I'll tend to go for a particular one most of the time. Oh. Donna's saying all of hers are getting old, need to upgrade, and she's got a 1.5x6. I've never seen a 1.5x6. Okay. And he's going, no more rulers there.
No more rulers, don't talk about it.
If we suddenly go off, it's because Andy's cut off the live. He's like, no more talking rulers. Hazel's saying she's got that sparkly ruler as well, and she loves it.
You gotta.
Yeah. So if you were sort of chatting to a new bag maker, somebody who's just started bag making, what advice would you give them?
Probably don't be totally stuck to a pattern. Initially you might be, but think about what you want to make, and I think you'll enjoy the process much more. Because I read some posts and you can really tell how stressed out people are about making their first bag or whatever. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. So enjoy it. Don't stress about it. Try and make it fun. And yeah, if you think, I think that might work, try it.
Yeah. The rules, the guidelines, not rules, aren't they? That's how I try to look at it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think you get more out of it the more experimental you are. with it. Clearly, you can't go off changing seam allowances, etc., to start with in any case, because you're not going to get anywhere near what you should get. But if you think, oh, I know how to do X, Y, Z a different way, and I feel it's going to work, do it.
Yeah. Do you pull in ways of certain pattern designers doing things into making other bags? So if there's a way that, I don't know, like we'll use Country Cow for argument's sake. If there's a way that Jo writes doing a particular thing into her patterns, do you find that even if somebody's written it differently in their pattern, you tend to do it? You tend to do it the way that you prefer?
No. If I'm testing, I'll go to the pattern. But when I'm making a bag my way, I'll read the pattern, but I'll make it my way.
Yeah.
And that might be dragging a skill that I've learned from a different pattern designer. I love to make a certain handle that Petal have a pattern for, Ivana's pattern, and her handles are beautiful, and I love to make that way. And different pockets, because there's loads of different ways of making pockets and you know, doing your overlay, etc. I like a nice, clean, small 3/8 inch opening in my overlays. Some people like a 1/2 inch, but if it says 1/2 inch in the pattern and I want 3/8 of an inch, I'd do 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same as you. Like, I'll sort of, I don't, very, very rare I pattern test because I just don't have the time. But I do like to, like, oh, I'm going to pull this from this and this. Mine are usually the zipper recesses from Lavender and Twine. I'll always hack a pattern. If they're not done her way, I'll hack it so I can do them her way. And I like her slip pockets as well. So I'll usually take the measurements, but then make them up the way that she usually has them written. And I think that's just now because my brain works that way.
Absolutely.
I tend to sort of default to doing it that way. So sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm supposed to be doing something different. I'm like, oh well, I've started now.
I find I automatically sew a certain way with certain things because that's the way your mind works. And we all have our favourite way of doing things, don't we? The thing that works for you.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, Alice is saying that she's never used a stiletto. She was thinking of heels when we first saw it. She'd pictured us all sewing in heels.
Stilettos, girl, if it makes you happy.
Yeah, I'm definitely a slippers girl. Or just socks. I can't sew. Are you the same? Can you sew in shoes?
Crocs. I sew in my Crocs or my socks. Crocs or socks. That's me.
New tagline: Crocs or socks. Yeah. No. I literally, if I've got anything on my feet, the one that's on the foot on the pedal has to come off. So there's usually like a shoe lying around, and then I'm walking around with one shoe. But do
you find sometimes that I think it's a little bit like driving? Unless you can feel the pedal properly, it doesn't feel right, does it?
Yeah. I was driving the other day. Well, I wasn't driving my car. I was driving my ex-husband's car because he didn't want to drive across Leeds. So I did it, and I had my boots on, and I don't normally drive in these boots, and I don't normally drive his car. And it was so weird because I just, and I was like, I wish I had some slippers or something in the car that I could have put on because but I find it the same with your sewing machine. You need to have that sort of, that feeling, don't you, of where exactly your pedal is. And So what machine do you sew on?
I sew on a Juki Samata TL2300.
So is that a domestic or a?
Yeah, they call it a semi-industrial, but I don't think there's any such thing. It's a domestic sewing machine to me.
Yeah. Is it a little bit like the HD9?
I think it's on that kind of line.
Yeah.
I love this machine because it will go through anything. Well, the needles will go through anything. It uses industrial needles, and that's another tip. to change your needle size. Don't be stuck to an 80-12 or a 90-14. If you have to go up higher, go up higher. It's not going to do any harm. And my machine will go through virtually anything with the right needle in it.
And changing the needles as well. I think we're all guilty of, you know, sort of, or maybe it's onto our third bag, and then we're like, oh, haven't changed that needle in a little while. Because I'm quite lucky, touch wood, I don't break needles often. So in my other machine, I used to change them more often because they used to break all the time. Where, you know, thankfully now I very, very rarely get a broken needle. So sometimes I'm like, oh, when was the last time I changed? Yeah, I need it. So I'm trying now to get in the habit of sort of every project changing the needle out, because it's, you know, that's usually been a good 6 hours or so of. So if they're smaller projects, I'll leave it till the next one. But I usually try now to change my needle out. But like you say, using the right needle is so important. Yeah. And I used to sort of not realize that, and I used to just have, you know, like say probably an 80-12 in, especially when I was sewing on like vintage machines and such. And I would be like, well, why is it not forming stitches? Why is it, you know, it's just not sewn at all? And then the minute I learned about bigger needles, which I didn't realize you could get, you know, I'm going back quite a while. It's like, wow, this is amazing.
Sometimes I have to go up to a 110 because that's what the machine is asking for, you know. And it works. It works. But I love all that side of it. I love the little techie bits and the ideas that you've got to think about how you're sewing something. And I like the troubleshooting. Why am I getting skip stitches? I don't get skip stitches because I change up my needle. I do something. I play about until I don't get skip stitches. Yeah. Because I think sometimes we underestimate the capabilities of our own machines. Most machines are capable of a whole heap. A domestic machine, definitely. Yeah. You can do a lot with them.
Like you say, especially with the right needles or the right feet. You know, adding a walking foot onto a domestic machine can revolutionise what it's able to sew. Obviously within reason. If you're putting 6 or 7 layers of leather through it, it might struggle.
You know, there are limits, and that's another thing you mentioned about changing the feet. That irritates me, I have to admit, because I have to stop and change them. But I do it because you need to. You do need to.
Well, I sew now with just because obviously I'm on like a industrial walking foot machine, so I sew now with my zipper foot attached. So I leave the middle bit and I only change the outer bits depending on what I'm doing. But I sew pretty much exclusively now with a zipper foot on, and it's made my top stitching so much better. Like, so this is just like a personal thing that I've found for me. It's made my top stitching so much better. But it's so much easier because I'm only changing the one side. Yes. Where obviously with an industrial, you know, usually you're changing out both bits and it takes forever to do and what have you. But I've got it down with fine art now. I can do it fairly quickly. But I found changing over to that foot was just made things so much better for me. Yeah. Well, now if I put the other foot on, I'm like, what do I do?
It does make so much difference, and you can get these feet, can't you? These zipper feet with a little cutout, so you've got a left side zipper foot and a right side zipper foot. I mean, they're cheap as chips off lots of sites, and they really help.
Yeah, and Donna's just saying there as well. She has like a quick change bolt on hers. So I mean, obviously they don't work on like these type of industrials, but I mean it would work on my Janome. And again, that can just make changing over so much quicker. I'm just looking to see what other tips people are putting in the chat. Grumpy saying anything other than rulers. No, just rulers. Yeah. And your name's going to come to me. Sophie, I'm sure it's Sophie, says tea plates are good for drawing in corners as well. So that's quite a good tip. Lots of people are commenting that they also in socks as well. No Crocs, just socks. And Donna's saying, "What? You don't wait for the needle to break?" And Hazel's totally agreeing with you as well, saying that she feels the most overlooked thing is the importance of needles. They think of everything else except the needle.
It's like
Me once, I had it in the wrong way.
Yeah, like the tyres on your car.
Yeah.
Needle.
Yeah. Donna's saying her mum rarely changes her needle in her industrials. So we need to get Donna's mum onto changing her needles more often. And Hazel's saying she does the same as me, leaving the middle bit on the jacket. It was a tip that I saw somebody else post about. It could well have been Hazel. And I thought, that's genius. I'm going to see if that works. And I'm like, why am I changing this middle bit out? So now I just change the outer bits. Yeah.
Well, at one point, I was convinced that I needed to go industrial, that my top stitching would improve if I had a cylinder arm. And
we've all been there.
I saved up and I bought one, but I'm scared. I'm scared of the thing. It's ridiculous, but it scares me silly. I cannot sew on it. I cannot do it.
I was a little bit like that when I first got the Jack. Because obviously I went from using the Janome over onto using the Jack. And it scared the living daylights out of me. And now I'm the other way around. I don't really like sewing on the Janome. I much prefer, if I have to go over on it, I'm like, oh, this is so different. And, the controls are different, the speed's different and what have you. And I think it's just getting used to it, isn't it? It's like I sort of forced myself
even
to get used to it.
It's too fast for me. And I'm scared I'm going to impale myself. I'm going to be sewn pierced through on the sewing machine or something. I'm scared, but I'm absolutely petrified by this machine.
You might be able to get an engineer to slow it down even further, because they come set a certain speed, but I'm pretty sure that the engineers can slow them down.
It's slowed down, but again, I'm a very, very slow sewer. I don't sew fast speed because I don't have the control. If it goes too fast, if I can hear it going, it throws me completely off.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
A nice calm pace. That's how I like to sew.
And I think when you're sewing bags as well, the seams aren't very big. So if you've got your machine set really fast, then you've that seam sewn before you've even took a breath. Yeah. And that's usually when my seam allowance goes like this.
Wavy lines.
Yeah. So I mean my industrial is set on a very, very slow speed. And even when I sew on the Janome, it's set on which I mean is still faster than a domestic. When I go back to a domestic, I'm like, oh, this is really slow.
I'd love to sew leather bags, but the different weights of leather and thickness would be too much, I think, for this machine. But I've tried, and I know for me, it's just one step too much. And I don't want to stress myself out ever with bag making, because it's a great therapy for me.
You could try lamb's leather. That's very thin.
I have some. I've just sewn a bag with some.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got some in the cupboard I could have shown you. But yeah, like a lamb's leather, it's much more supple and not as
smooth, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have an estimate coming out with some lamb's leather on it. Look out for that one because it's a country cow pattern. I'm sure Joe won't mind me saying because it's been seen, but we'll be promoting that in January, I think. And my tester makers, I've used lamb's leather on that. And we're actually, I don't know whether people have seen their new boxy bag that they've just. I think if you subscribe, pattern free. It's just, I think it's just
right.
it's come out.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be totally honest. I haven't seen anything in any of the Facebook groups or anything for the last couple of days because I've spent it sleeping. So lovely. I am a little bit behind. Oh, that's fabulous.
It's a free pattern. If you subscribe, I went a bit wild.
That's fantastic.
Look at these. The gifts.
Yeah.
They are beautiful.
I'll put a link into like Joe's website as well in the description. I tend to try and link anything that we've chatted about.
Yeah.
Sort of afterwards.
That's so fun to make as well. So fun to make.
Oh, is that leafy print on the inside there?
It is. You know, that's my favourite ever.
Me too. I love leafy print.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Monstera, is it called?
Yeah.
Lovely, isn't it? Rifle paper.
Rifle
paper. Canvas. Love it. But yes.
If something's green and leafy, I will spot it. Yes. Yeah, I love it. And Highland Cow.
Yes, of course.
I love anything that's Highland Cow as well. So like you, I am waiting for some lovely Highland Cow fabric to be released. If they do.
Country Cow need to do it. I'm saying it in public. We are waiting for our Highland Cow fabric.
Yes. Joe, get on it. Because they're like water resistant canvas and that's really nice as well. Like nice quality. So
beautiful to sew with.
Yeah. Oh, Michelle's saying that she uses a narrow foot on her walking foot machine as well. Andy's basically saying he sews with whatever foot I have on. A doesn't know how to change it, and B's probably a little bit scared too.
I love that your husband started to sew. I think that's amazing. Well done, Andy. Well done.
He's probably not going to let me show you, but I'm going to show you anyway. Let's see if I can reach it. So he started the other day making this backpack. Which way am I going? And this, he has basically just, it's in his head. It's not a pattern. He basically just started putting pieces of fabric together and then was like, how am I going to put the connectors on? And then worked out how to put the connectors on. So this is leather. And so I think he's
having a go, isn't it?
And he's camper van material. So yeah.
Fabulous.
I might get wrong for showing you that, but he's not in the room, so what's the worst he can do? Well, he could cut the internet off. So Donna's agreeing with you as well, saying cylinder arms are scary.
Frightens me to death.
Yeah. And Andy's saying he likes the Jack now because they're friends.
Good.
He was very intimidated by the industrial sewing machine when he first started sewing on it. But I basically just made him. I was like, no, just get used to it. If you don't like it the next time, you can have the other machine back. Because he was just using my PAF domestic machine. And I was like, you'd be able to sew leather on this because he loves working in leather. So yeah, they are friends now.
Good.
So you're just going to have to persevere with the cylinder arm and just.
No, I think I'm happy with what I sew on.
Yeah.
I am.
There's an odd time when I'm doing something, usually like a smaller bag, and trying to do the top stitching on the flatbed. And I'm like, oh, I'd love a cylinder arm. I'd love a cylinder arm, but I've just got absolutely nowhere to put it. It's I do not have any more
in
space.
that room, taking up space. That's all it's doing.
Oh, Sarah's saying she's still got her heart set on a cylinder arm when she can find space. Yeah. Donna's saying, going back to tips, the towel thing to put the zips on has been a game changer for her.
I don't use
like zip pulls. I know some people don't. I've tried and I just can't do it. So that is an amazing skill.
It is really easy. Shall I tell you how to do it, people? It's so easy. Literally, you get your zipper, the teeth. You know that there's always one above the other. The top one, that's the side you start with when you put your pull on. You look down it, you wiggle, and when you see that they're level, you pull your zipper on. Done.
Well, I'm going to give it another try.
You've only got to practice. I can do it like that, but the easiest way to do it is on a flat surface.
Flat on the table, yeah.
And it's just practice, and it's so quick. Once you've got it, you've got it. And you can generally hear it click, and you know your teeth are lined up properly. And if it doesn't work on, whip it off and try again. I'm
the same when I put it on with like the little towel jig. Like I can tell straight away, even before it's come out the other end, if it's going to be right or not. Yeah. So half the time I'm like, no, that's not going to be right, and I start again. But I think it's just because I'm so used to doing it that way. Yeah. I was watching a video with I think it might have been yesterday. Kasaya making up a trial bag. So she was making up a bag for her daughter. Basically, her daughter had said, I want one of these. Can you make me one? So she kind of, thingied a pattern for it. And when she put the zip on, she did the same. She just was like, do. And I was like, I'm so jealous. Because I've tried for so many times.
Just practice. And it was something that I wanted to master because
I'm
with the mind, if someone else can do it, then surely I can.
Oh, 100%.
Just practiced and I practiced. And easily done.
Yeah. Sarah's saying, I think you become a bit at one with your machine. Changing always throws me, even back to the machine I've used before, which, it's really true. You just like what you like, don't you?
You do, yeah. Even if I use somebody else's machine, I'll go a bit like, oh, what's this? Like I've never seen one before. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sometimes there can just be slight difference in how they're threaded, and you're like, why is that not working? It's because it's got a tiny, it's got a tiny little bit that yours doesn't have, so it's so different. Michelle's saying she's had the email about the pattern, and so's Sue. So I will put a link to Country Cow Joe's website in the description, so if people want to go on.
I mean, when I tested it, I went wild because I was like, I love this. I've got to make another one.
Was it a nice quick sew as well?
Yeah, really quick. They're fun. And that's the thing. I think so much because I find it real fun. I love it. I enjoy it. I love to see other people's makes. I get very excited. My son, he goes, Mum, you're such a little freak. I get excited about everything. When the postman comes with post, I'm like, I got post.
Yeah, I totally, and I think probably most people in the chat will be nodding their heads in agreement. Yeah. Andy's certainly nodding his head. That's what I'm like.
And I see a good pattern, and I'm like, oh my goodness, have you seen that bag? And he's like, Mum, you're going to fall off the chair.
But it's one of the few things I think as well that you do on your own, and it is a very solitary hobby, but it's got such a good community. The community is so supportive, even though we're all in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. There's that sort of network, and it's not, like, I find personally, it's not competitive. You don't get people not wanting to tell you how to do something because they don't want you to know. It's so the opposite. People are so like helpful and given with their time and their expertise in helping other people learn it. And you know, I think sewing, that community in general, but I think particularly in the bag making community, I've found anyway, that it's just such a supportive, helpful community.
I love to share because I think that's how we've all learned. I mean, I wouldn't know how to sew if it wasn't for other people, how to sew bags in any case, because I've learned so much from other people, watching other people, reading the different tips that people have had. I think, oh, I remember that. Oh, and even screenshot something and keep it so that if I need that tip, I can go back to it. And it's so good that we share. And I think that because there is so much misery out there, in the world in general and in life, if we can find something that brings us all together, helps us to be positive, helps us to create, because for me, creativity is part of who you are as an individual. And that's why I can't dislike anybody else's bag. I can't dislike a tip. I can't dislike this, that, or the other thing, because we're all different.
Yeah.
And it's part of who we are, that creative streak that we have. And I think we should shout it out more for each other. And that's why I try to be as encouraging as I can to everybody.
Yeah. And I think most, like, everybody sort of absolutely loves that. You know, people love like this, the supportiveness, and you know, even if it is just a heart on their picture, you know, it sometimes for some people that might be the only interaction that they have within that space, because nobody else they know in real life, like, you know, in person, shall we say, kind of sews or makes bags, you know, so they can't kind of go to their mate when they're having a cup of coffee, like, oh, I learned this new technique. So like,
whatever.
yeah, that's what most of my friends are like. I'm like, oh, okay, it's so boring. Like I say, I've just dragged Andy into it now, kicking and screaming. He doesn't have any sort of option in whether he loves bag making or not. Hazel saying, is that pouch the one that's in collaboration with the trimming shop?
Yeah, I think it was exclusive to them for 3 months, but now the pattern has gone back to Country Cow and they're offering it free for those who subscribe just now. So
yeah,
good one. It's a good one.
Fab. Michelle's also agreeing that she would love a cylinder arm but doesn't have any space. Oh. And there's quite a few people in the chat who are able to put zips on without a jig. I'll just have to practice more. I did have a little bit of a practice and then got bored and was like, I'm just going to use my jig.
Whatever suits you, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, usually for me, because I'm quite time poor, I'm just like, oh, this is quick, and you know, it's on in like 3 seconds, and I'm away again. Oh, sorry, that's my WhatsApp going on my computer. I do apologise. So, do you ever lose your sew, Jo?
I haven't yet. No. I find it it's therapy for me.
Yeah.
I think what really thrust me into bag making was my dad dying. I couldn't find joy in anything at that point. He died quite quickly from a cancer diagnosis. It was traumatic, and it was very difficult for me, and the grief, it was horrible. And the only thing I found pleasure in was sewing, and it was my therapy.
Yeah.
And, it still is my therapy. I sew when I'm happy. I sew when I'm sad.
It's lovely that you've had that, and I'm very sorry to hear about your dad, but very pleased for you that you had something that you could throw yourself into and distract yourself with, because it can be all consuming, can't it, when you're going through a grief like that. So being able to have something that you could throw yourself into and then share with others.
Yeah, it was the only thing at that time that helped me to sort of forget a little for a little while. And it could have been anything, but it was bag making. It was bag making.
Yeah. I'm just quickly checking in the chat to see what if there's any other questions. John is saying, I don't lose my sew jaw, but sometimes my body gets memo and her joints don't cooperate. But it can be really hard sometimes, can't it, when if obviously you won't know, like losing your sew jaw, but try and like to sort of reignite when you've got other things going on in your life. It can be quite hard sometimes to focus on it. Although I love sewing and I love bag making, I find when I'm really, really busy, I can't put my full concentration into it. Like I can't find that distraction. Something probably I need to work on. But I find I make silly mistakes because I'm thinking about other things rather than what I'm doing, and then I get annoyed with myself. And as Andy will testify, I lose my temper.
I do that. There are times when I think I'm going to launch this bag across the room.
that was me sewing with wax canvas last week. My language was, but just as well that was not on a video or a live or anything, because my language was horrific sewing that wax canvas.
Well, I have a friend that's my quality control, and if I'm like, oh, do you know what, that's gonna have to do, he'll go, no, leave it now, Diane, don't sew anymore, because you can't leave it like that, because I'm extra, and I'm happy to be known as extra, because it's got to be right for me, Some people might take it as a negative, but I like extra.
I think either way is good. I think if you've got the type of personality where, if your seam's wonky as anything, your zip's wavy, and you're like, I'm happy with that. It's fine. I love it. I'm a little bit like you, and like I'll things have to be precise, otherwise I am not happy. But that's what makes us and that's what brings all the difference to what we make, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are times when I think, you know what, I'm so over this, I've just got to leave it now, because we all get there. Sometimes there are some things that best us. But
has there been a project that has beaten you, that has got the better of you?
Now, I will not name names, but there is a pattern that I sewed, and I sewed the bag, and I sewed it to the best of my ability, but I will never, ever sew that bag again, because it put me off for 3 whole days. I couldn't sew a thing for 3 days because it was such a workout, and it was hard to sew, and I didn't enjoy it. But I thought, this is fabric and cotton, and it ain't beating me. So I finished it. But I don't like the bag, and I'll never sew another one. Never.
Yeah. I've had a few patterns like that where, I'm like, I'll never ever go back to that one again, because I haven't enjoyed it, or the process, or what have you, or it's got the better of me and I don't like that. Occasionally, sometimes a bag might have got the better of me, but then with a little bit of time and experience, and I think I could go back and I could do a better job of that bag this time. And I sometimes do go back and But there are a few I'm like, never again.
I had one experience with a bag, and it's the Harrelson noodle head bag.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to be very careful with stabilizers in that bag, because it's got these funny little pleats at the front, because it bows out at the front. You know,
Right. I knew which one you mean, yeah.
It's too thick there. Oh, it's a bind. It's not going to look good. And I was playing with stabilizers, and it was a little bit thick. I got to the end of the bag, and I was trying to push out those little curvy bits. Pushed a little bit too hard, went straight through it.
Mm.
I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I spent all that time making that bag, and look what I've done. And I thought, I'm just going to harvest all the good stuff off that bag and bin it. I have to revisit that pattern, because I've never made it. But I will. But
like, that's all. Like, I always think, like, mistakes aren't mistakes. They're learning experiences.
Absolutely. Learning curves, because I've never made one quite like that again.
Yeah, 100%. Sue saying she was the same as Diane. She lost both of her parents within 9 weeks of each other, and then she was diagnosed with cancer. She finds sewing does help, and it's her happy pace, and it's therapeutic for her.
That's me.
And Michelle's sharing the same. Like, obviously, sorry to hear about your dad. And sewing is her therapy since being diagnosed straight to stage 4 3.5 years ago. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that too, Michelle. But it is so lovely that people have something that they can focus on, and then be part of such, like, an amazing, supportive community as well. Like, people probably get sick of me banging on about it, because it is one of the things that I'm, like, really passionate about within bag making, is the community side of it, because I just think it's so sort of important. And a little bit like what you were saying at the very beginning of the episode about coming back into sewing through the pandemic and sewing masks and what have you. Like, I think that is so reminiscent of a lot of people's stories that have come into bag making much more recently, was through the pandemic, making masks and scrubs and wash bags. But, you know, it gives us such a sense of purpose, doesn't it? When you're feeling like that you just don't know what to do with yourself, and, you know, you can't focus on anything. Having that skill to be able to do something that somebody else is going to need or appreciate, it does give you that sense of purpose, doesn't it?
I mean, my mum's a great knitter, and I can knit, but I'm not good. My mum's fantastic, and she can sew anything. What she sews is beautiful. She sews a lot for me because I feel the cold, and she keeps me warm with all sorts of beautiful makes. And I think quite possibly my creativity, my creative streak, comes from Mum. My dad, he wrote poetry, so he was quite creative.
Wow.
And between the two of them, I think because again, I've written poetry. That was one thing that I used to love writing as well. And I think between the two of them, they produced a daughter that likes creating.
Yeah.
And, sort of as homage to the pair of them, my bag tags, they are, I don't know whether you've seen, I haven't even got one at hand, have I? I've got one at hand. I don't know whether I put a label on it. I don't know whether I put one on any of them. Oh, I have. Yeah. I've got a bit of a squashed tag here, but that's my tag, Gwen and Ollie. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Well, people ask me, and I'll just tell everybody, then they all know, how I came about the name. Gwendolyn is my middle name that my mum gave me. And I always hated it. My used to taunt me and call me Winderling, and I hated it. My dad's name, his middle name was Oliver, and it just went so well together. So it was a bit of mum and a bit of dad.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that.
A bit of both of them.
Yeah. And I mean, sort of like having that sort of creativity come from your parents and obviously nurtured by your parents as well is, yeah. My mum's very similar. She's an amazing knitter, amazing crocheter. I did not pick up that gene. I can't.
Neither did I. I can knit, I can knit, but we get to the arms are shaping, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah. I'm going to leave that to my mum, and I'm just going to make her nice bags.
I'll stay in my lane. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and Andy's Andy's making a comment to people talking about unpicking, saying, "Is unpicking not part of the process?" I missed that memo.
Oh, we all have to use a steam ripper.
Yeah, I'm sure. Andy, on your last bag, you got me to do the unpicking, or did I volunteer? I volunteered, but I did the unpicking. It's like, here, I can do it quicker. Oh, Donna's saying her business name is also in honour of her mum, who taught her how to sew, and taught her most of what I know. And Michelle says because she loves all things Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, so does Notorious Alice. She loves anything Alice in Wonderland. You two will get on.
Andy's saying no, that was the bag before. Yeah, that was the one that I shared in. I think it was my last video. I haven't done a video for a couple of days with Bean Pooley. But yeah, I shared his bag that he has made for his dad as a Christmas present.
Well done,
it's really good as well. He's made the Tribbiani Traveller.
Wow.
So 2 secs. I can get it. 2 secs, and then we'll let everybody go. I did share it in my other video, but
oh wow.
So yeah, so that's the Tribbiani Traveller that he's made, and it's in the Royal Engineer colours, like burgundy and navy, because his dad was a Royal Engineer for 22 years. I've got a little collection of Andy's bags down there now.
Very nice. Have we been talking for that long?
I know. I'm going to be in so much trouble when I come off this. I'll sweeten him up. It's fine. I'm just very proud of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and just like your son before he went out, saying he'd watch the podcast and be supportive, and it makes all the difference when he's such an amazing support. So I just want to sort of shout it from the rooftops of how well he's doing. So do you have any like social media channels? Do you have like a Facebook page or anything that people can follow you on? Or are you just mainly in all of the groups?
I'm in all the groups. I have my own little Facebook page, but to be honest, Facebook is still an enigma to me. I only joined Facebook last year. I'm still learning. It's all about the sewing for me, really.
Yeah.
I want to look at what I've made, and if you're interested, have a look. There's a Gwen and Ollie page, and there's a Diane Richards page. You can have a look at either. But
if you send me the links, I'll put the links in the description as well, so people can go and follow you. You need to start a YouTube channel now. We've got you on screen.
Oh, I don't know about that. With my crummy accent, I thought, well, Stoke, I hear me.
The whole time that you've been talking, I just keep thinking, I love your accent.
Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely, it's just so. It's so comforting and like homely. I just love it. I just love it. And I'm always dead sort of paranoid about my accent. Obviously I'm northern. Sometimes it can be quite strong, but people love it.
No, it's quite gentle actually, I find. think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of from the outskirts. I'm not from the very middle where you just can't understand anybody. But yeah, I do. I just love your accent. I could listen to you. I could listen to you all night.
My son is one of my biggest cheerleaders, and when you asked me, I was like, oh, can't do that. He was like, Mum, do it, and I thought, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And I'm glad.
Well, thank you to your son.
Yes,
because I've really, really enjoyed chatting to you and getting to know the face and the voice behind all those beautiful creations.
Thank you.
And I've only got one more question to kind of ask you before we finish, is how do you fit it all in? I ask this to loads of people. How do you fit it all in? Because you just seem to make so many bags.
I don't even know how I fit it all in, but I make it work for me. I mean, I sew Strike Sew for Enchanted, and we've got some nice things coming up next year because they're a great team to work with. And I have a little idea, so look out for that, people.
Oh,
my
exciting.
Sewing addiction, I will just use those terms and look out for that.
We will.
I just love it. So you know what you like with things you love, you make them work for you. So I just cram it all in, and it's all good therapy.
Yeah, it's probably very helpful. Like you've said, your son's very supportive, so I think it does help to try and fit it all in when you've got a supportive family as well.
He's a good lad.
Oh, bless him. He seemed lovely. When he sort of went out before and he's like, bye, Mum, I'm going to watch you.
I'm going to Nan's to go and sort Nan out so she can watch you.
Where I'll say to my kids, don't watch because I've got something on there that's a present for you. They're like, Mum, don't worry, we don't watch. I'm like, all right, okay.
My son loves it, and he tells his mates, because Mum, and she's cold. She's cold. Apparently.
Oh, I'm not down with any of the kid lingo anymore. But it hasn't been absolutely lovely chatting to you. Like I say, getting to know the face behind all those beautiful bags. And I'm sure people will know kind of your name from all of the Facebook groups as well, and seeing all the makes that you do share and all the helpful encouragement and tips and everything that you give people as well. So thank you very much. So thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. I know I haven't got through all of the comments because there's been quite a few. It's been quite a chatty chat tonight. I think Andy's been keeping everybody entertained in the chat as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. I think this is possibly going to be the last one of this year. I think I'm going to have a little bit of a break and have some time off over Christmas, and my daughter comes home this weekend from uni, so I think we're probably going to spend a few weeks together and then restart the podcast in the new year. So if that changes and I put another episode out before then, I'll let you all know. But yeah, I think next podcast will be into 2025, and I am working on Andy coming on the podcast. People keep telling me and asking me to get him on the podcast. I am working on it, so possibly at some point in 2025 you may well have been an inspiration to him, Diane, and that getting out of your comfort zone and coming on and talking about his makes. So like I say, it's been really lovely chatting to you. So I will see everybody in 2025 on the podcast. You'll see me before then, no doubt. But everybody have a lovely Christmas and all the best for the new year as well. See you soon. Bye.